right, you see that we have a newcomer here. Okay, welcome Mitri. So if you want to give, Mitri, if you want to give a try here, all right, you see that we have a newcomer here. If you want to give a try for today's session, feel free to download the dataset and also the try version if you haven't have any Autodesk Build for the course for today pre-online lesson. So let's get started from here. Today you are with me, Haja from Acadsystems as AEC Technical Specialist. So if you have any question during my presentation, just feel free to drop your comment or your question inside the chat box below. Okay, let's go started from here. For today, we're going to look at the project cost and cost management and also budget on Autodesk by using the cost management module. So inside the Autodesk, this is just a brief recap on the cloud by the Autodesk. There are two platforms. One is the ACC and another one is the BIM 360. So they are being supported for the whole facility life cycle, the design, plan, build up until the operate. So for today, we are going to focus on the build stage over here for the cost management. So for the unified workflow, in order for us to start from the design until the build, and just now the plan, build, design, build, and then up until the operate, we can use these as a whole. Okay, but for today, we're just going to focus on the Autodesk Build. This one, the Autodesk Docs is the one for document management. You can either purchase it as a standalone. It's also available within AEC collection. For the other module over here, it is only available as a standalone purchases. So for the Autodesk Build here, this is where we can access for cost management. Okay. The workflow for the cost management for today is that the people that we're going to look at is that the contractor, the subcontractor, and also the owner. So this is the people that are responsible for today cost management and also change management. Okay, there is another subsequent workflow that comes from today cost and also budget management that is called the pay application workflow. So, but this one is we are not going to look at. I'm just going to show you here for a brief workflow. The pay application workflow is that after you have conduct the costing and also budgeting on the cloud, you want to ensure that for the budget and the cost have the approval workflow for the payment. So that can be used by the pay application workflow. But that one is also accessible from the cost. But this one workflow, I'm not going to talk on. I'm going to talk and focus more on these cost and also change management. All right, so let's look at in detail for this workflow. It started with the main contractor to setting up the budget and also the contract. Okay, so for the contract then, if let's say there is any potential change order, if let's say that you create the contract for the concrete, and then after you after there is a design changes, there is a requirement for the additional concrete, that is when we can submit for the potential change order. And then after you submit for the PCO, we can then request for the new quotation, RFQ. And then from that, we can also share with the subcon to supply with the new CO. And then the owner will revise those new change order, and they will reflect on the owner OCO workflow, and then we can compare between OCO and CSO. So if that is approved and then that is accepted or rejected, it will be reflect back on the contract. So from the contract then we can see, we can then move forward from those contracts to create the cost and also budget pay application workflow. Okay. And we can also create the forecasting for our costing for those contracts, and then we can compare with the actual when we have created the cost pay application. So now let's move to the cloud. Okay, if you want to give try, you can just feel free to register from the trial version that I have give you inside the chat board. Okay, let me now open this. Okay, so this is the cloud platform, ACC. Okay, so from here, you can select the project that you want to work to with for the costing today. If you want to learn how to create the project, this one I have talked inside the my one of my free online previously inside the BIM Collaborate. So you can just go to Acadsystems YouTube channel. If you go to our website and then down below where we have the YouTube. Oh, you cannot see my screen. Let me just share one more. All right. Thank you, CCW. Okay, so you can go to our website and then click on the YouTube channel if you want to have a look on how we can create the project. I have talked on the creating the project at the start from BIM Collaborate Pro previously if, for the free online lesson. So if you have attended, then you can look at that BIM Collaborate Pro for the workflow on the creating the project. Okay. Okay, so you can just go to this cloud collaboration in Revit with BIM Collaborate Pro. So I have taught how we can create the project from here. All right, so let's now move back to our ACC. Okay, from this, you want them to open the project that you want to use for your costing. And then after you have opened the project for the costing, ensure that you can access the cost from here. So if you have subscribed to the build, you will automatically have the access to the course here. If you haven't, then you can try use the trial for today and you can also access for the course here. Okay. And then from here, if let's say you still cannot see the course, what you want to do is that you go to the project admin. Okay. And then under the project admin, you want to ensure you give yourself the access to the course. So how we do that is that when we go to the project admin over here, and then we can look on the member for the project admin on the member here, and then find your own name. And then when you click on your own name, that will bring all these access that you can turn on from there. So ensure that you turn on the access to the course before you can access from this module. Okay. All right. So now we want to add the subcon, the supplier and also the owner from here to this cost module. You go first to the members. Okay. Let's just close a couple of the. All right. Okay, I can also add from here, from this project admin. I can either go to the cost and add to the member. But if I want to add directly from this project admin, I can just click on the add member. Okay, and then that will bring to this invite project member. So I now going to input here this information for my project member. All right, let me just add a couple of people here. Okay, so let's say that I'm going to add the Freddy frame, my subcon. Okay, and then this guy will be responsible for all the framing. So I'm going to apply the company for this guy. Okay, that will be cover frame. Okay, and then I can specify the role for this guy. Okay, this is from the role, and then I find the subcontractor. And then ensure that under product access, you have to tick on the docs because by default you want to give them access to the document. And then we can also tick on the cost and then click on the invite. Okay, so I have added one person. Let me add a couple more from here for the MEP contract subcon and also structure subcon. Okay. Okay, welcome Law. So I'm going to add this guy from MEP subcon. You can just put in the email address and that will appear. If they already have the Autodesk account, we can just select from there. If they haven't, they have to register first, and then we can apply the company for them and also the role. And ensure that you tick on the course here. Right. So let's say that you cannot find the company and also the role that you want to assign to them. Okay. In order for us to create a customized role and also company, is that we can do that from BIM 360. Let me just go from here. Okay. You have to first open the account admin. Okay, I think my internet is not that good today. All right, let's see if I can just. Okay, you want to ensure that you can go to the account admin here. Okay. And after you have go to the account admin, you can go to the BIM 360 administration that also on this left sidebar. So click on the BIM 360 admin here. Okay, and then click on the companies and also role if you want to add the new companies and also role. So let me go to companies here and also open the role for adding the role. All right, so the new company that I'm going to assign for the other member here for the structure. So let's say that from here, I'm going to, okay, when you go to the company just now, you will be bring to this company directory. So you just click on the add and that will bring you to this. And then we can put on the name that we want to put. So let's say I'm going to add now for the structures. Okay, and then the trick for the company. All right, so that will add the company directory. And then also for the role just now, if you're gonna add the new role, if let's say that you don't have the subcontractor or you don't have the owner, you can just click on here and add. So let's say from here, I'm going to add the main contractor. Okay, so I just click on the create new role and then click on the add. And then after you have added them, ensure that you specify from here, the main contractor, what kind of access you want to give to them, the document management, and then also tick on for here, the costing here, the cost management. Okay, give an access to them as a member. Okay, now we bring back to the member here. Okay, so I'm going to add another one member for the structure just now. Okay, so I can add the member, this Steve sub, and then assign to the Steve sub to the company that I have just added just now. Oops. So let me just refresh a bit. So after we have customized and added the role on the BIM 360 administration, we can directly add those roles on the ACC. So they have the interlinkage between these two platforms. So let me go back to the add member here. Okay, Steve sub here, and then assign to the company. Okay, just now I'm assigning. Okay, so this is the one that I have added just now. So I just click on that company, and then the role. Okay, I'm going to assign this guy, Steve sub, as a as a subcontractor. But otherwise, you can see that this is the role that we have added just now, the main contractor. So I'm going to assign this guy as a subcontractor also, and then I'm going to give the access as a cost, and I click on the invite. All right, so that is for adding the member here. Okay, and then let's go back to the cost here. Okay, now what we want to do after we have added the team member for the cost, and we also ensure that we have already assigned them to the module for the costing, we now want to add, we want to setting up view setting, general setting. We want to also add the budget and the contract after that. Right, let's go first to a view setting here. Okay, we're going to set the income setting for the budget code segment. All right. Too bad today is not that good in my internet. Okay. Okay. So from here, for this cost, you can see there is the income, expenditure, the change order, and the file. The file here, it connects to the document management file. So you can access also from the cost, and then there is also the reports member if you want to see all the members. So let's go now to the setting. So if you click on the setting, okay, we're going to setting up a couple of things from here. Okay, so I'm going to first add the project code segment. All right, what's wrong with mine? Okay, if I'm lagging a bit, I'm really apologize for my network. All right, so from here, for the setting, you go first to the income. Okay, under the income, then we can setting up for the budget code segment. So it's basically inside our income, what kind of the information that we want to include. All right, so from here, okay, go to the budget code segment. Okay, so this is where you can add all those budget code. Okay, so for instance here, for this one, I'm going to, if you want to rename that, this is the segment that we have. So if you want to rename them, just double click for the sample segment one here, and I'm going to put in the project code. Okay, and then I'm going to assign this as info only. So that will be only the info. Okay, and that will be when I have ensure that they have input at least 4 digit up until the 4 digit, and then for the delimiter here, I'm going to put in as a none. So when I put in as none, that will have no delimiter on the with the other code, the next code. So let's go now to the next code. The second one, I'm going to put in the subjob. So this one will reflect on the subjob. So just double click to rename them. And then put in the code. So this will be according to the code. And then for the number of the digit here, that will be 3. And then the delimiter, I'm going to use the point. So that will have reflect a point at the back. Okay. And then from here for the segment preview, I'm just going to put in 001. Let me just put project code segment preview here for the 00, so 001. Okay, and I'm going to click on the add new again. All right, so this one, I want to add CSI. And this one also be code, and then the number of the digit that we want to input up until 6. Okay, and then this will have a point delimiter, and I'm going to rename this segment preview with the 0330. Okay, so if you have downloaded the data set that I given inside the data chat, okay, let me just paste for those who just came in. Okay, if you want to give a try, you can feel free to use this data set, and also if you haven't have any cost management, you can go to the try version. All right, so from here, if you have the code segment code master list, and you can import them. You can import inside from the SL file, or you have another kind of file. Okay, you can just click on choose file. Okay, so for CSI here, I'm going to, if you go to the one data set I've given. Okay, so we can upload the CSI code segment master. Okay, so when we upload those code master, where we have specified what kind of the CSI that we want to coding. Okay, let's just see from here for the import. Okay, so this is the kind of the description with the code. For instance, the 0 here we reflect with the procurement and contracting requirement. If you want to reflect on the concrete, that will have represent by this 3000 code. Okay, so then we can import them. Okay, and then click on done. That has imported to decoding here, and then it will reflect down below here. So I'm going to add a couple more here. I'm going to add sequence also, and then also the cost type. So this is how you can add the budget code for each one of those segments. You just add from here for the segment, for the sequence, and then that will be code with the number of digit 1, then the delimiter will be, I'm just going to put on the point, and then there will be no master list. Let me just put in 1 here. And for the add new another one, the last one for the cost type. Okay, that will be all I'm going to put in for this code column. So this will not just be the code, but it will be reflected on the column where you can put in for the number of the digit. I'm going to put in 3. Okay, and then the delimiter here, I'm going to put on 9. Okay, let me just, okay. So when we have added the column, that will have added the 2 column there, and then I can put in for the code that I want them to be previewed. Okay, so that is the import. Okay, so this is the instance for the cost type here. I also have my own segment code master list. So I just click on the add from here, similar to how we add the CSI. We can also add directly from here. But if you have your master from the other document, you can just click on import. And then from there, you can choose the file again. All right, and then add from the cost type segment. Okay, so that will reflect on the code for the fee, lab for the labor, fee for the FEE for the fees, and then the INT for the internal. And then we can import those code. So after we have a setting up this code, so this is the important one. All right, we can click on the done here. Okay. We can also from here for the each one of the template that we're going to use, if you want to change them for the income, expenditure, change order here, there is a document template that we can use. If you want to change them on the document template, you just click here and then click on add. But there is also the one that has been the template that has been provided, the sample template that has been provided by the Autodesk. So for all this for today, I'm just going to proceed with the Autodesk template. Okay, so if you want to change them, you can change from that. Okay, now we're going to setting up the companies. So if you go back to general here, for the companies, click on the drop down here for the companies, and we're going to specify the owner. All right, so we have to specify the owner, and then who's the contact person that is responsible. Okay, and then from there I can select the contact also. Okay, I'm going to select my own self, and then I can also add the general contractor GC here. So I'm going to add my own self. I'm going to add here. I'm going to add my click here, and then you can also specify for the architecture, for instance, and then that one also I'm going to put on the Acadsystems. So that is all for the setting up the company. So if you're not setting up, you can setting up here for the company, and also according to the contact person that is responsible. Now we're going to have a change order for the financial markup formula. So what we're going to do, first go to the change order. Okay, and then we can also add the financial markup formula. So click on the add financial markup, and then click on the add. So from that, we can then create this formula. So you can see that there is a subtotal and also the markup. So you can rename them. Okay, if let's say I want to going to add the markup for the contingency, so I'm just going to rename this new markup formula. Let me just add the new formula for this one. Click on the markup and then drop down to here. Just delete one here, and then from here, okay, you can rename them according to what kind of the information that you want to put in, the markup that you want to put in, and then you can also from here can also specify according to the percentage here. So I'm going to add the markup for this contingency around 2%, and then after that you can also according to what cost basis. So if you put in the current cost basis, that will be calculated according to this current cost basis. If you want to change the cost basis here, just go to the net total, and then you can change the value from that. All right, let me just go save from here for this one. Okay. All right, so now we want to import then our budget and also contract. If we go to the income for the budget, okay, so you click on this pencil edit mode if you want to import them, or you can also create directly from here. All right, so from here you see you can have the add and also the import. So the import is if you have the Excel file master list. If you want to create them individual from here, you can also add. Click on the add, you can then specify the budget code, budget name, and all those quantity. Okay, for today, I'm just going to import from the Excel file. So I just click on the import and I choose the file. All right, so the Excel file here, if you have the access to my data set, just click on the medium budget there, click on open. And then after that, we can just import. Okay, so these have all the budget name with the code, the quantity, unit cost, and amount. So you can just click on import. Okay, and then click on done. Now I'm just going to go to expenditure to add to the contract. So for each one of these expenditure, we can then assign the contract, and we can also, if there is any changes, we can then send those changes. Just now we mentioned about budget changes, PCO. So we can assign, we can forward those PCO to the supplier. So, all right. So from here, if I go, this is for the budget. So let's go now to the expenditure to add the contract. Okay, if you click on the expenditure for the subcon contract, so you go click on this edit mode again. So similarly, you have the direct adding, and you can also import from the Excel file. Okay, so I'm going to add from here. Click on the choose file again, and that will add the medium contract here. All right. So if let's say if you want to add from here, if you want to have an easy workflow, you have to ensure that you have for the code for the expenditure and also the income is matching, so that when we want to assign, we want to link between the contract and also the budget, they can auto link. Otherwise, we have to do manual linking. So what I meant by that, okay, now we're going to see here, for instance, for the accommodation. So if I want to link to the budget, I just click on the accommodation here. This contract, I'm just going to link to the budget. So I click on the three dot here to edit them. Okay, some error here. Okay, if you have any questions, just feel free to let me know. Okay, so you can see that when you add all those contract, now we can see from there who's the supplier. So from here we can assign to the respective supplier, and we can also see the budget from there if we have linked to each one of these contract to the budget. We just go and link one of them here, and then we can add our two different online lesson. Okay, if you want to give a try, feel free to download this data set and also try using the trial version if you haven't have the course. I think that's pretty slow. Let me just open another project from here if I can just. Okay, let me just open this LTO project. All right, that is for the cost and also budget management inside this Autodesk Cloud Construction. Let me just go briefly a bit more from here. All right. If you have any question, just feel free to drop inside the comment box below. Another good things about working with this cloud is that we can also working offline. If you want to have and then you want to connect to your desktop, you can install the desktop connector, and then after you have the desktop connector, you can then open your file from your desktop. And then when you don't have the internet, and you can still access those desktop connector file. But once you make any changes, it will reflect back once it go online, and it will sync back to the cloud. Let me just show you for the finish up here. Okay, so after you have uploaded the contract and also the budget, we can now link the contract with the budget. Okay, let me just click on this back to the contract expenditure. And then from there, for instance, if I have here the accommodation, okay, if let's say that I want to assign these bicycle racks or suspended ceiling, and then from there I can click on this budget for the main contract, and I find the budget for this bicycle rack. So from here, okay, I can assign to this budget, and after I have done that, I can also send the request from the supply input from here, and then I can also send this information for the information on the SOV. from here to the supplier. Okay, so from there, after we have linked them back, what is being reflected is that on here, we can see those information after we have linked it. So if you haven't linked them, it will stay blank like this. And then we can go and see all the revised budget, the project budgeted, if there is any PCO, and then depending on the changes, and then we can also view from here. Okay, and then the good thing also from here, you can see from the chart to check on the budget trend and also the cost trend for those contract and also the income. I think we're going to end that for now. And also for another one last thing is that for the PCO. Okay, so for PCO here, this one you can add them manually. And then if there is any PCO there changes, and then we can also reflect that. And we can also link them and then put in the value for each one of these PCO items. And then we can also specify for here, let me just, for the sources type for those PCO. And then we can then, after you have done that, we can then generate them for the RFQ or RCO or OCO or CSO. And then from there, we can, the responsible person for each one of these, they have to then, they have to provide the feedback according to what kind of the information that we required. All right, so I think that's all from me. If you have any question, just feel free to drop into the email, or if you have any question, just contact me. I apologize for my very bad network for today. Otherwise, I'm going to end for today's free online lesson. Thank you guys for attending our today free online lesson. Thank you and see you again. Bye-bye.